They didn't know what happened to them. And in that battle, every time Khalid radiallahu anhu used to strike, he used to kill a Muslim, he used to say, Ana Abu Sulaiman. Ana Abu Sulaiman. I am the father of Sulaiman. This was his title. With pride he was saying it. And every time he would strike. And in that battle, 70 Sahaba were martyred. 70 Sahaba. And amongst them was none other than the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hamza radiallahu anhu. They mutilated the body of Hamza radiallahu anhu. Hind, she chewed the liver of Hamza radiallahu anhu. And in that battle, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried. And he sobbed and he cried like a small child. Because he had so much love for his uncle Hamza radiallahu anhu. And at that time when the battle was getting more difficult, Khalid didn't stop. He was looking around. Why? What was his aim? He was looking for none other than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was looking for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam because his aim was, he says, I want to kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in the midst of the battle, when the Muslims were not sure what's happening, rumors started spreading that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been killed, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been martyred. And then some of the Sahaba, they got around Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and 30 Sahaba were there around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was safe. Then everyone else was informed, no, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is alive. 30 Sahaba were around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they were standing there, and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, who is there will stand to protect me? Who is there will stand to protect me? The first Sahabi who stood to protect him, Ziyad bin Sakan, an old man, he stood up. And he started protecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he was martyred. And when the spear hit him, he fell on the ground, and his cheek landed on the foot of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he passed away while his cheek was on the foot of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The world might think he's passed away, he's lost, but wallahi he had the most honorable death. Why? Because he died while his cheek was on the foot of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And thereafter Abu Dujana, he played, and he was protecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And thereafter Talha bin Ubaidullah stood up, and he gave one side for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Arrows were coming. He was the human shield. He let the arrows hit him one after the other, to such an extent that his arm became paralyzed. One side of his body became paralyzed because he was not letting a single arrow pass to hit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some other Sahaba, at that time, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Talha, Ya Talha, wajabat lak. Ya Talha, wajabat lak. Oh Talha, Jannah is compulsory for you. You have done something which you will receive Jannah. And many other Sahaba were fighting at that time. Many other Sahaba were striving to protect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the battle ended, and this was the battle where the Muslims, they lost. And they went back. There were 70 shaheed, and a lot of them were hurt as well, and they went back. Thereafter came the battle of the trenches, Khandaq, which was, they dug the trenches around Medina. This was the idea of Salman al-Farsi. And the Quraysh came in big numbers, and they brought other tribes with them as well. And they wanted to cross to fight the Muslims, but because of the trenches, no one would come across. At that time, only two people crossed. Only two groups of people crossed. One of them was Ikramah bin Abi Jahl. Ikramah, the son of Abu Jahl. He crossed. And with him, he brought a group of warriors, and he brought a person who was Amr ibn Abdul Wud. Amr ibn Abdul Wud. And he was such a person that he was known that he is equal to 500. He is equal to 500. And when he came across, and he started mocking. He said, oh Muhammad, where's Muhammad? I want to fight with him. And the Sahaba got angry. Ali radiallahu anhu got angry. He said, oh Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let me go and sort him out. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, sit down. And Ali radiallahu anhu again stood up. Then this Amr ibn Abdul Wud was taking them, he was mocking the Muslims. And he said, where's your Iman? Where's your Islam? Where's your Muhammad? And the Sahaba were getting more and more angry. And Ali radiallahu anhu said, oh Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let me go and deal with him. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, at that time he said, oh Ali, don't you know this is Amr ibn Abdul Wud? Don't you know this person? Even Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam acknowledged that this person, he had never let any of his opponents walk alive. He had never before that let any of his opponents walk alive. He was ruthless. And then he went, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he agreed that Ali radiallahu anhu can go. And at that time Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave Ali radiallahu anhu his turban, and he gave Ali radiallahu anhu his sword, and he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, on the battle of Badr, I lost my uncle. Oh Allah, in this battle, don't let me lose Ali. Oh Allah, in this battle, don't let me lose Ali." Because Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam had so much love for Ali radiallahu anhu. And then Ali radiallahu anhu, he went and he started talking to him. So Amr ibn Abdul Wud says, "Oh little boy, go back quickly. I don't want to hurt you. Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, "Couldn't they find anyone bigger than you or stronger than you to fight with me?" Ali radiallahu anhu says, "I am the weakest from amongst them, but I'm enough for you." And he said, "You're having a laugh. Do you know me? I'm Amr ibn Abdul Wud." Ali radiallahu anhu says, "Do you know me? I'm Ali bin Abi Talib." And he was like this. He said, I was the friend of your father. I was the friend of your father. I don't want to hurt you. Go back. And Ali radiallahu anhu says, No, but I want to hurt you. And I want to kill you. And Amr ibn Abdul Wud was there. And Amr ibn Abdul Wud was a big person. Big, giant. And they say the bigger you are, the quicker you fall. And the louder you fall. So this Amr ibn Abdul Wud came, and Ali radiallahu anhu was small. He was still young then. He was dodging him from the right to the left. After later while he got tired. And then he moved this way and he fell down. And Ali radiallahu anhu was on top of him with the spear. And then Amr ibn Abdul Wud thought, you know what? Okay, I'm going to die, but I better die in style. I'm not going to die just like by a little kid killing me. This is going to be a disgrace. So he spat on the face of Ali radiallahu anhu. And Ali radiallahu anhu stopped and he moved back. So Amr ibn Abdul Wud asked him, "What's the problem? Why don't you kill me?" He said, "Before I was fighting you for Allah. Now when you spat at me, it became personal. So I'm leaving you, I'm going now." So Amr ibn Abdul Wud, Ali radiallahu anhu was walking back. Amr ibn Abdul Wud attacked from behind, and Ali radiallahu anhu took out his spear and killed him. And he fell. And when he fell, the Quraysh, they were shocked that a small boy, Ali radiallahu anhu, he has killed someone who was equal to 500. And then the second person who jumped over the trenches was none other than Khalid bin Walid. He was none other than Khalid bin Walid, and he came over with his sword and he gave a tough time to the Muslims. He gave a tough time. It took 200 archers of the Muslims to repel him. 200 of them non-stop firing. But Khalid radiallahu anhu gave them a tough time. And then they went. The Muslims again were victorious at that time, and the Quraysh, they went. But obviously you see that Khalid radiallahu anhu was giving a tough time to the Muslims. Then came the battle of Hudaybiyah. And Khalid radiallahu anhu came out. The Muslims were on a certain route. And Khalid radiallahu anhu came out with 100 men. Only with this intention that I'm going to kill. I'm going to kill again Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then at a certain place, he saw the Muslims camping. And then he planned that when it's Zuhr time, I'm going to attack them. He was, Zuhr time, he was waiting for them to start the prayer, but something stopped them. Something stopped him from attacking. And later on he used to say that, Wallahi, it was Allah who stopped me. There was a powerful being and a force which stopped me, and I could understand. I had the chance, they were in front of me. And then he said, you know what? Zuhr is gone, no problem. I know the Muslims are going to read Asr. I'm going to take care of them in Asr. And at Asr time, before they started the prayer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He revealed the verses of the prayer of war. The prayer of war. Why? Because the Muslims don't leave the prayer even in the time of war. Nowadays we find Muslims in the time of decoration, they leave the salah. I'm busy decorating my house this weekend, I've got paint on my hands, so I can't pray. Someone says, my car's gone for MOT, so I'm off salah. The Muslims, they weren't even off for salah. Even in the time of war, they had to pray. And then the salah was revealed, that you perform the salah of the war. And the way it was, that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam would lead the prayer, half of the army would be on the guard, half would pray, and then the half would go, and the second half would come and join. So, they didn't give a chance to Khalid radiallahu anhu to attack. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time, he said to the Sahaba, he said, take me through a route which we will not encounter Khalid. Take me through a route in which we will not encounter Khalid. Why? Because even Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he acknowledged how dangerous Khalid radiallahu anhu was. He says, take us through a route which will not encounter Khalid radiallahu anhu. And the Muslims went through a route and they got to a place of Hudaybiyah. And that's where the treaty of Hudaybiyah took place. And they signed a treaty that this year the Muslims will not go into Makkah, but next year they will be able to come. And many other conditions were agreed in this treaty of Hudaybiyah. And then the following year, one of the treaty agreements was that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam can come into Makkah. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam can come into Makkah. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came into Makkah, and he asked, the first thing he asked is, where is Khalid bin Walid? Why? Because he always used to talk to Walid, the brother of Khalid. And he used to say that an intelligent person like Khalid, will not be stopped from Islam. Meaning Rasulullah knew that one day he will come into Islam, because he says that an intelligent person like Khalid will not be deprived of Islam. And Rasulullah was asking about Khalid. And he was told, Rasulullah said that Khalid has gone far away from Makkah. How much hatred he had for Rasulullah, he didn't want to stay in Makkah when Rasulullah visits Makkah. And he said while leaving, I'm leaving because if Muhammad is in Makkah and Khalid is in Makkah, Muhammad will not leave alive. And Rasulullah was informed. And again Rasulullah said, hasn't time come for this intelligent man to accept Islam? Hasn't time come for him to accept Islam? And then his brother Walid bin Mughira, he wrote the letter to Khalid, that, oh Khalid, what's wrong with you? When Rasulullah came to Makkah, he asked for you. Rasulullah is hoping in you that you are going to accept Islam. And then over that time, Khalid radiallahu anhu was also looking at the Muslims. He was seeing everything. And obviously he was an intelligent man. The love of Islam started coming into his heart. And then one day, when Rasulullah had already gone back to Medina, Khalid radiallahu anhu got onto the horse and he said, that's it. Enough is enough. I need to go to Rasulullah and I need to take Shahada. And I need to accept Islam. But when Khalid radiallahu anhu went, he didn't want to go alone. He took Amr ibn al-As with him again. And Amr ibn al-As, later on we'll see, he played a big part in many of the wars. He was a commander in many of the wars after. Him and another person, 3 of them, they traveled. But Khalid radiallahu anhu, again, he was a very brave person. He said, when I leave Makkah to go to Medina, I'm going to leave in style as well. He got on his horse, he took his sword, and he went around Makkah, and he announced, O people of Quraysh, Khalid bin Walid has become Muslim. Khalid bin Walid is going to Medina to accept Islam, to take bay'ah on the hands of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is there anyone who wants to stop me? Tell him come quickly. Before I go, tell him come quickly. And no one came forward. Because why? This was Khalid bin Walid. No one was ready to mess with Khalid radiallahu anhu. But that time, he was Aduwullah. At that time, all these things we've heard about, he was the enemy of Allah. Everything he was doing, he was the enemy of Allah. When he went to Medina, he went in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so happy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't ask him that, oh Khalid, remember you're the one who used to boast, and every time you used to kill a Muslim, you used to say, Ana Abu Sulaiman, and this. But Khalid, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so happy. Why? Because for one person to accept Islam was more beloved to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam than the world and what it contains. And then Khalid radiallahu anhu, he accepted Islam. And he was spending time with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, spending time in the Masjid Nabawi. And then 3 months after this, Khalid radiallahu anhu got the chance. Khalid radiallahu anhu, within 3 months of taking Shahada, Khalid radiallahu anhu got the chance that he is going to participate in the battle. But this time, he's not going to be on the side of the Quraysh, he's going to be on the side of the Muslims. He's going to be in the army of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this was the battle of Muta. And this was in the boundaries of Syria.